Welcome to another episode of Cooking with the Kid. It's been a while, but we're going to jump right back into things. We're actually going to kick off our baking series. Well, I know the theme is Cooking with the Kid, but we can also bake too. I'm going to start with some really easy recipes. Being from the South, one of my favorite is a cream cheese pound cake. Simple ingredients, simple steps to give you perfect results every time. Then later we're going to move into cheesecakes and also pies. Stick with me and we'll give you some easy recipes to take into the summer. Now let's jump right into our ingredients. Half a dozen eggs, a cup and a half of butter, 8 ounces of cream cheese, 3 cups of flour, 3 cups of sugar, a tablespoon of vanilla, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. Now, because we're baking, a rule of thumb is to go ahead and preheat your oven to begin with right away. Today, because we're doing a pound cake, we're going to preheat our oven to 300 degrees. Then we'll start the mix up.
So let's get to mixing our ingredients. We're going to start out using the cream cheese and the butter. And what we're going to want to do is whip that until it's nice and combined. So using my stand mixer, I'm going to use a couple of various speeds here, get it nice and going. And at this point, we're going to start to add a little bit of the sugar. Now you're going to take your time doing this. Okay, we're going to make sure all that sugar is incorporated nicely here, and then we're going to mix that for a bit and let it keep going here. I'm going to vary the speed back and forth just a little bit here. We want to make sure that this is nice and coated. And at this point, we're just going to let this bad boy run for about 3 minutes. Now that we've let it run for about 3 minutes or so, at this point, we're going to go ahead and add our eggs. It's real key that you do them one at a time to make sure each egg is incorporated nice. Continue that going. Throw this egg in there, and guys, be careful here because you don't want any of the shells going into your mix. So take your time doing this and play with the speeds a little bit, back and forth. Crack another egg here, and make sure you get all half dozen in. Okay, now that we've got all of our eggs in, we're going to go ahead and start the mixer back up here, and we're going to slowly add our flour. Make sure that that's nice and mix. Take your time doing this as well. We don't want to dump all the flour in there at once. And a little bit at a time, making sure that we get it all off the edges when using a stand mixer. It's a little bit different when using a hand mixer, but taking our time, making sure that we get all that flour incorporated the way we need it to. Now that we've got that mixture going really nice, we're going to add our vanilla and continue to mix it. Make sure your mixture is, at this point we're going to stop the mixer and make sure we scrape all of the stuff off the sides. Make sure that's folded really nice into our mix, and we're going to make sure we got everything in there and go to the next step. Now that our mixture is ready, what I'm going to go ahead and do is prepare our bundt pan. I decided to use a bundt pan because to me it just looks cooler, I guess. In the past, I am a huge fan of actually buttering down my pans and using a little flour. But one of the things I find that with bundt pans, it's really difficult to do. So I'm going to show you guys this guy here. I found out that Baker's Joy does a really good job of making sure that your baked products do not stick. So I recommend using Baker's Joy when it's really difficult, or if you just want to be something quick, use this guy right here, and it's really easy to use. So I thought.
At this point now, we're going to go ahead and put our batter into that bundt pan. And we're going to even it out right before we get ready to put it into the oven. Now, as we get ready to put this bad boy in the oven, I'm going to throw a little curveball at you. Because before we actually put the cake into the oven, we're going to put about 2 cups of hot water in along with the cake pan. This way, it'll allow for your cake to rise nice and even. We're gonna get that on the middle rack. Nice and even, without the cracking. And we're going to bake this bad boy for 1 hour and 45 minutes. We'll check on the progress later. And there's our alarm. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and pull this bad boy out. Take a look at how it looks. Oh, look at that. Nice and golden brown, exactly the way we were looking for it. And at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put it on the cooling rack and show you guys the finished results.